There's a part of the internet most people never see, the side where no usernames exist and no rules apply. These are 3 true stories from people who went deeper than they should have, and never forgot what they found. A few months ago, I got a message from a viewer named David. He'd stumbled across my channel and felt like I was the only one who could understand what he'd been through. It all started, he said, with a job posting. Not on any ordinary job site, though. This one was buried deep on a hidden forum, the kind you only hear whispers about. It was simple, almost too simple. Data entry, it said. Archive some old files, good pay, flexible hours. It seemed perfect for David, who was struggling to make ends meet. He sent an anonymous message, a burner email address his only identifier. And then, he waited. A few days later, an unmarked package arrived at his doorstep. Inside was a hard drive and a note. "The work is important," it read. "Do not deviate from the instructions." David felt a chill run down his spine. This was no ordinary job. He plugged in the hard drive, his hands trembling slightly. The files were unsettling, to say the least. Thousands of them, each containing a single image. Faces stared back at him, their expressions ranging from uneasy to downright terrified. Some were blurry, caught in motion as if running from something unseen. David tried to tell himself it was just a prank, a sick joke, but the fear in those eyes was too real, too raw. He continued working, each image chipping away at his sanity. He couldn't escape the feeling that he was being watched, that someone or something knew what he was looking at. The pay was good though, too good to ignore. And so he kept going, sinking deeper into the mire of the dark web and the horrors it held. One night, David stumbled upon a file different from the others. It wasn't an image, but a video. Hesitantly, he clicked it. The screen flickered to life, revealing a grainy image of a dimly lit room. In the center, strapped to a chair, was a young woman. Her eyes were wide with terror, her breath coming in ragged gasps. David watched in horror as a figure shrouded in darkness emerged from the shadows. He couldn't make out any features, only the glint of a blade in the flickering light. The video cut out abruptly, leaving David in stunned silence. He felt sick to his stomach, the images burned into his mind. This wasn't just data entry, it was evidence. Evidence of something truly horrific. Panic seized him. He had to get rid of the hard drive, erase every trace of his involvement, but as he reached for it, his blood ran cold. The files on the screen were changing, morphing into something he couldn't comprehend. And then, a single sentence appeared in bold red letters. "Curious, aren't you?" His phone rang, the sound piercing the silence like a shard of glass. He jumped, his heart pounding in his chest. The number was blocked. With trembling fingers, he answered. A voice, distorted and chillingly calm, whispered on the other end. "We see you, David. We know you've been looking at things you shouldn't. And now," the voice hissed, "it's your turn." David slammed the phone down, fear gripping him like a vice. He ripped the hard drive from the computer, smashing it against the wall. He couldn't erase what he'd seen, but at least he could destroy the evidence. He fled his apartment that night, leaving behind everything he owned. He didn't know where he was going, only that he had to disappear. He's been living off the grid ever since, haunted by the faces in the photos, the terror in their eyes. He knows, deep down, that they're watching him, waiting for him to slip up. Sarah, a freelance graphic designer, was used to late-night emails, but this one, received just past midnight, felt different. It came from an anonymous sender, the subject line simply reading "Design for a price." Intrigued, Sarah opened the email. It was a bizarre request. The client wanted a logo, a symbol, but their instructions were cryptic and unsettling. They described it as a gateway, a representation of the thin veil between worlds. Sarah should have disregarded it, her gut screaming at her to hit delete. But times were tough, and the pay offered was too tempting to resist. Against her better judgment, Sarah agreed to take on the project. Communication with the client was strictly through encrypted messages, their words shrouded in secrecy. They provided vague concepts and disturbing imagery, each request making Sarah's skin crawl. As the design took shape, a sense of unease grew within her. It was more than just the client's strange demands, it was a creeping dread that seeped into her bones. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was creating something dangerous, something that shouldn't exist. Late one night, as Sarah was putting the finishing touches on the logo, her computer screen flickered. The image of the symbol, now complete, seemed to pulsate on the screen. Then, her entire apartment plunged into darkness. A cold wind swept through the room, though her windows were sealed tight. Sarah's blood turned to ice. This was no ordinary power outage. The air crackled with an unseen energy, the silence broken only by the frantic beating of her own heart. Then, from the darkness, she heard it. A voice, raspy and ancient, whispering her name. Sarah fumbled for her phone, her fingers trembling as she tried to call for help, but the line was dead. She was alone, trapped in her apartment with something she couldn't see but could feel closing in. The whispering grew louder, circling her, taunting her. It spoke of things beyond human comprehension, of realms hidden from sight. It promised power, knowledge, and something far more sinister. Suddenly, as quickly as it began, it stopped. The oppressive darkness lifted and the lights flickered back on. Sarah was left gasping for breath, her body trembling with terror. On her computer screen, the logo she had designed was gone, replaced by a single line of text. "Thank you for opening the door." Sarah deleted everything. The email, the design, even the software she used. She swore to herself that she would never delve into the depths of the internet again. But the fear lingered, a constant reminder of the night she came face to face with something ancient and evil. She still feels it watching her, lurking in the shadows of the digital world, waiting for her to let her guard down. The experience left her shaken, her perception of the world forever altered. She knows now that some doors are best left closed, some boundaries never meant to be crossed. The dark web, she learned, is not just a place of hidden websites and anonymous transactions. It is a breeding ground for something far more ancient and sinister, something that preys on curiosity and feeds on fear. Chapter 3. Order number 33. Mark, a college student with a penchant for the strange and unusual, stumbled upon a hidden marketplace during one of his late-night internet deep dives. It was a place where people bought and sold things you wouldn't find on any legitimate site. He told himself he was just curious, that he'd never actually buy anything from a place like that. But then he saw it. Order number 33. There was no description, just a picture of a small, ornate wooden box and a single word: truth. The starting bid was surprisingly low. It was almost as if the seller wanted it gone, off their hands as quickly as possible. Curiosity, that age-old siren, whispered in Mark's ear. He placed a bid, more out of impulse than anything else. To his surprise, he won. A wave of excitement mixed with a tinge of apprehension washed over him as he finalized the purchase. A few days later, the package arrived. It was smaller than he expected, wrapped in plain brown paper. As he unwrapped it, he noticed a strange, musky odor emanating from the box. It smelled old, ancient, like something unearthed from a forgotten tomb. Inside, nestled in faded velvet lining, was a simple silver ring. It had no intricate designs, no sparkling jewels, just a smooth, cold band of metal. He slipped it on his finger and instantly, something felt different. The world around him seemed to sharpen, colors becoming more vivid, sounds crisper. He felt a surge of energy, a clarity he'd never experienced before. But it wasn't all positive. A wave of nausea hit him, followed by a searing headache. Images, disturbing and chaotic, flashed before his eyes. Whispers, too faint to decipher, seemed to claw at the edges of his mind. He tried to remove the ring, but it wouldn't budge. It was as if it had become a part of him, fused to his flesh. Panic set in. He had to get rid of it. He tried soap, oil, even pliers, but the ring wouldn't move. It was then he noticed something strange. His reflection in the mirror. It was changing. His eyes, once a warm brown, were now ice cold, almost completely black. The whispers grew louder, the images more vivid and terrifying. He saw flashes of unimaginable creatures, heard screams echoing in some dark, distant corner of his mind. The ring, he realized with growing horror, wasn't just an object. It was a conduit, a window into a realm of darkness he was now inextricably linked to. Desperation clawed at him. He couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. The voices were ever present, driving him to the brink of madness. He withdrew from his friends, his family, terrified of what he might do, what he might unleash. He searched for answers, scouring the internet, trying to find any mention of the ring or the marketplace where he'd bought it. But it was gone, vanished without a trace. He was trapped, alone in his nightmare, the line between reality and the horrors he now perceived blurring with each passing day. He's still out there somewhere, lost in the labyrinth of his own mind, a prisoner of the very truth he sought. His story serves as a chilling reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved, some doors better left unopened. The dark web, in its vast and unforgiving expanse, holds secrets that can shatter the mind and consume the soul. Not every corner of the internet is meant to be explored. The deeper you go, the more you give up. And sometimes what watches from the other side doesn't want to be found. These stories, as unsettling as they are, serve as a stark reminder of the hidden dangers lurking beneath the surface of the digital world. Curiosity can be a powerful lure, but it's important to remember that some things are best left undisturbed. Thanks for watching Unhinged Nightmares. Subscribe for new true horror every night.